Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. The Washington Commanders find themselves in a delicate but fascinating position as they prepare for a crucial early season showdown with the Atlanta Falcons this Sunday. At the center of the storyline is their young star quarterback, Jayden Daniels, who has been the heartbeat of this team since arriving as the number 2 overall pick last season. Daniels, just 24 years old, is already the face of the franchise, the kind of player who instantly changes the identity of an organization. But right now, all the focus is on his health, specifically a knee injury that has threatened to derail his momentum. On Wednesday, Daniels was back at practice, albeit in a limited role, and every step he takes toward recovery is being monitored like it's a national security issue. For Commanders fans, seeing their young star back on the field, even in a restricted capacity, offered a glimmer of hope. Head coach Dan Quinn, who has been steady and direct in his messaging since taking over in Washington, summed up the situation perfectly before practice began. He told reporters that Daniels was expected to be a limited participant, but he stressed something more important. Daniels is doing everything you possibly can to get there. That phrase hits differently when you're talking about a player who not only won Offensive Rookie of the Year just months ago, but also represents the future of the franchise. Quinn's words painted the picture of a competitor who refuses to be sidelined, someone who is going to push every boundary to get back on the field for his teammates. And when you consider how the injury occurred, late in a tough 27-18 loss to the Green Bay Packers on September 11th, it adds to the frustration. Daniels was playing his heart out, trying to drag his team back into the game, only to come up limping at the worst possible moment. The silver lining for Washington was that his absence last Sunday didn't spell disaster. In fact, the Commanders managed to put together an impressive 41-24 win over the Las Vegas Raiders, largely because veteran backup Marcus Mariota stepped in and delivered exactly what the team needed. Mariota wasn't flashy, but he was efficient, completing 15 of 21 passes for 207 yards and a touchdown. It wasn't Daniels-level magic, but it was steady, professional quarterback play that allowed Washington to lean on its playmakers and defense. Still, nobody in that locker room is under any illusion about who the engine of this offense is. Daniels has already built a reputation for precision, athleticism, and poise, hitting nearly 60% of his passes for 433 yards and 3 touchdowns without a single interception this season. The numbers don't just tell the story of production, they tell the story of a quarterback who is still evolving but already capable of playing mistake-free football. And yet, as much as the Commanders are focused on Daniels' knee, there's another injury cloud hanging over them that could prove just as significant. Star wide receiver Terry McLaurin, the heartbeat of Washington's receiving core and one of the most reliable targets in the league, picked up a quadriceps injury during the Raiders game. It happened on a spectacular play, a 56-yard catch that had fans on their feet, and then ended with McLaurin diving toward the end zone and coming up hurt. Coach Quinn made it clear that McLaurin was not expected to practice on Wednesday, and ESPN reported that the veteran wideout was even seeking second opinions on the injury. For a player who hasn't missed a start since 2020, who has played in 72 consecutive games, and who has become synonymous with durability, this development is particularly concerning. McLaurin's resume speaks for itself. Since being drafted in the 3rd round back in 2019, he has quietly become one of the most productive receivers in football, racking up 470 catches for 6,528 yards and 38 touchdowns in 100 career games. This season alone, he already has 10 receptions for 149 yards, and he's done it despite missing all of training camp and preseason while holding out for a new deal. That holdout finally ended on August 25th when he signed a 3-year extension, and since then, McLaurin has slipped right back into being the steady presence the Commanders can always rely on. If he can't go on Sunday, it changes the entire dynamic of the offense. Daniels, if cleared to play, would be returning without his most trusted weapon, and if Mariota gets the nod again, he would be missing the one player most capable of turning short completions into game-breaking plays. This is the kind of scenario that tests the depth of a roster and the leadership of a locker room. Daniels is pushing hard to make it back, and his competitive spirit is exactly the type of fuel that can inspire teammates. But the Commanders' coaching staff has to weigh the long-term health of their quarterback against the urgency of an early-season matchup. At 2-1, Washington has momentum and a chance to build real confidence. The Falcons, sitting at 1-2, are desperate and dangerous, and playing on the road always presents challenges. There's a temptation to throw Daniels right back into the fire, but the risk of aggravating his knee injury is real. These are the moments when a franchise has to think not just about Sunday, but about the next 3 months, the playoff picture, and the trajectory of a young star's career. And then there's the human side of it. Daniels is just 24 years old, a player still adjusting to the grind of the NFL schedule, still learning how to balance recovery with preparation. Winning Rookie of the Year put him under an enormous spotlight, and every move he makes is magnified. But those who have followed him closely know he thrives in these situations. His calm demeanor, his ability to block out noise, and his relentless work ethic are part of why Washington felt confident making him the face of the franchise. The fact that he's doing everything you possibly can to get back on the field isn't surprising. It's exactly who Jayden Daniels has always been. For Commanders fans, this week is filled with nervous anticipation. Every practice update, every piece of news about Daniels' knee or McLaurin's quad feels like it could swing the fate of the season. The Falcons aren't pushovers, and with their own backs against the wall, they'll be coming out swinging at home. Washington knows that. They know the road atmosphere will be hostile, that Atlanta will do everything possible to make things uncomfortable, especially for a quarterback who may not be at full strength. That's where the depth of this roster, the experience of players like Mariota, and the leadership of Quinn will have to carry them through. The storyline almost feels too perfect for early season drama. A young quarterback fighting to come back from injury, a veteran receiver trying to maintain his Iron Man streak, a backup quarterback who just proved he can deliver, and a head coach balancing hope with caution. It's the kind of narrative that makes football more than just a game. It's about resilience, risk, and belief. And as Sunday approaches, one thing is certain. All eyes will be on Jayden Daniels, watching every snap in practice, every warm-up throw, every step he takes onto the field. The Commanders' season doesn't hinge on one game, but it just might hinge on the health of their star quarterback and the availability of their most trusted wide receiver. This weekend, when Washington takes the field in Atlanta, the storylines will collide. Will Daniels make his dramatic return and remind everyone why he's the future of the league? Will McLaurin find a way to suit up and extend his streak of consecutive starts, adding another chapter to his reputation as one of the toughest receivers in football? Or will the Commanders once again turn to Marcus Mariota, trusting the veteran to keep the offense moving while their stars heal? The answers won't come until kickoff, but the build-up is already electric. For Commanders fans, this is more than just Week 4 of the NFL season. This is the kind of moment where hope meets uncertainty, where every snap feels bigger than it should, and where the fate of the season suddenly feels like it's hanging in the balance. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Breaking news is hitting the NFL world like a thunderbolt tonight. And if you're a fan of football, or just someone who loves jaw-dropping sports drama, you're going to want to sit down for this. Rumors have been swirling for weeks, whispers that nobody quite wanted to fully believe, and now, according to multiple sources that insiders are calling very credible, it appears that Jalen Hurts, the superstar quarterback who has become the heart and soul of the Philadelphia Eagles, is officially on the move. Yes, you heard that correctly. Jalen Hurts has reportedly signed with the Washington Commanders, and the ramifications of this move are absolutely massive. The NFL landscape is about to shift in ways that could send shockwaves not only through the NFC East, but across the entire league. Fans, analysts, and even casual observers are all scrambling to process what this could mean, and social media has already erupted into a frenzy, with memes, debates, and hot takes flying faster than any pass Hurts ever threw on the field. This isn't just a player changing teams. This is the kind of blockbuster that happens once in a generation, the kind of move that you don't just scroll past. You have to stop, rewind, and double-check your notifications because it feels surreal. Jalen Hurts, who has become synonymous with explosive plays, leadership under pressure, and a work ethic that borders on legendary, is no longer an Eagle. The Philadelphia faithful are reportedly in a state of shock. While Hurts has always been vocal about his commitment to winning and his desire to be the best quarterback in the league, few imagined that commitment might take him away from the team that drafted him and molded him into the star he is today. Sources suggest that the negotiation process with the Commanders was intense and drawn out, with several nights of talks, contract details being hashed out, and advisors from both sides pushing for terms that would satisfy the ambitions of a quarterback who clearly has no intention of being anything less than elite. Insiders claim the deal is not only financially significant, but also strategically brilliant from Washington's perspective. The Commanders, who have struggled in recent seasons to find a franchise quarterback capable of turning their team into a perennial playoff contender, may have just solved their biggest puzzle piece. Imagine a roster where a quarterback like Hurts is at the helm. His dual-threat capabilities, his mobility, his uncanny ability to extend plays, and his leadership both on and off the field could transform the entire dynamic of the team. Rumors suggest that the Commanders are willing to invest heavily not just in Hurts' salary, but in building a supporting cast around him, from offensive line reinforcements to top-tier receivers, because this is not just a signing, it's a statement. Washington is sending a clear message to the rest of the league. We are serious about contending, and we're willing to go all in. Meanwhile, Philadelphia is facing a whirlwind of speculation about what comes next. The Eagles' front office is reportedly meeting behind closed doors, trying to figure out whether to pursue another quarterback in free agency, pivot to a draft strategy, or make a trade that could reshape their roster entirely. Analysts are already weighing in, some arguing that losing Hurts is a catastrophic blow to the Eagles' championship aspirations, while others insist that a team with the right adjustments could still remain a formidable opponent in the NFC. The locker room dynamic is also under the microscope. Players who have rallied around Hurts for years are suddenly confronted with a new reality, and the culture he helped build is now at a crossroads. Coaches, team executives, and fans alike are all trying to grapple with the enormity of the shift, because when you lose a quarterback of this caliber, you're not just losing plays on the field, you're losing identity, strategy, and leadership. Social media has, unsurprisingly, exploded. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok are all flooded with reactions from fans and insiders alike. Some are celebrating Hurts' new chapter with the Commanders, envisioning electric Monday night games and highlight reels that will dominate the league's narrative. Others are mourning the end of an era in Philadelphia, sharing clips of his most iconic plays, emotional interviews, and moments that defined a generation of Eagles fans. The memes alone could fill an NFL season. Hashtags are trending faster than anyone can count, with Hurts to Commanders and Goodbye Jalen leading the pack. Pundits are already debating the long-term implications, and it's clear that this signing is going to dominate conversation well into the offseason. Even casual football watchers are suddenly intrigued, realizing that a single player's move can alter the entire balance of power in the NFC East, and perhaps even the Super Bowl landscape. Sources close to the situation hint that the deal was influenced by multiple factors beyond just money. The Commanders are reportedly offering Hurts not only a significant salary, but also a platform for leadership, control over offensive strategies, and assurances that he will be a central figure in the team's vision for the future. There's speculation that Hurts was motivated by a combination of personal ambition, a desire to test himself in a new environment, and the opportunity to be a transformational figure in a franchise that has struggled to find stability at the quarterback position for years. Meanwhile, Philadelphia's front office is said to have tried to negotiate a compromise, but Hurts' determination to explore this new chapter apparently outweighed all other considerations. Analysts are already predicting a ripple effect across the league. Teams are reassessing their rosters, draft strategies, and free agency plans. Could this prompt other quarterbacks to consider changing teams? Could it influence trades and signings in ways that nobody has yet imagined? The NFL landscape is suddenly in flux, and agents, scouts, and executives are all watching closely. The reality is that when a player of Hurts' caliber moves, everything else shifts in response. Ticket sales, merchandise, television ratings, and even coaching strategies are all impacted. Washington is about to experience an unprecedented level of attention and expectation, and the pressure on Hurts to perform immediately will be immense. But if history has taught us anything, It's that Jalen Hurts thrives under pressure, the kind of player who elevates his team when the stakes are highest. As the night unfolds, rumors continue to circulate about additional components of the deal. Some insiders hint at incentives based on playoff performance, while others whisper about potential coaching staff adjustments to maximize Hurts' strengths. Even contract language is under scrutiny, with lawyers and analysts dissecting every clause to understand just how this move could shape the NFL's competitive landscape. Fans of both teams are glued to their feeds, refreshing endlessly for confirmations, interviews, and official statements, while sports talk shows and podcasts are already queuing up special editions dedicated entirely to this blockbuster news. The consensus seems to be that this is not just a transaction. It's a narrative shift, a story that will dominate headlines, debates, and highlight reels for months to come. To put it simply, the football world has never been this electric. Jalen Hurts' move to the Commanders is more than just a rumor. It's a seismic event. Whether this turns into a championship run, sparks a heated rivalry, or reshapes the careers of everyone involved, one thing is certain: the NFL will never be the same. Fans, players, and commentators alike are in for a roller coaster ride of drama, strategy, and unforgettable moments. Keep your eyes on this story because it's only getting started, and if the past is any indication, the best and most shocking moments are still yet to come. Tonight, the whispers have become reality. The rumor mill has exploded into truth, and the NFL universe is watching, wide-eyed, as one of its brightest stars takes the field in a completely new jersey. Jalen Hurts is officially a Washington Commander, and the football world will be talking about this move for years. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.